welcome everyone to our presentation on the ARIS Product Strategy and Roadmap on the International User Group 2021. My name is Dominik Vanderhaeghen. I'm the head of the ARIS Product Management team, and I'm very happy that I can give you insights into our product strategy and roadmap for the rest of the year. Before we talk about features and functions and the release priorities, I actually would like to start from where we are in 2021. And there are a few challenges that are ahead of us that we all feel when we work in our companies as of today. And I would like to set the context a bit of our product strategy first. So the world is changing. I think every one of you is fully aware of that. And the key change that we all observe is that we are in digital transformation age. Processes are transformed to become digital, are revised every day. We've also seen that with COVID basically coming up, companies had to adapt at a much higher pace than we were used before. So from one day to the other, everybody has to adapt to change, and we for sure all have to be ready for this type of change. What we also see in terms of trends in the market, and I guess that you've observed that as well, is that process mining is a new topic, not a new topic, but a topic which is here to stay. So we as Software AG and with ARIS, we've been one of the first, and we've been basically the first vendor offering a commercial process mining tool to the market. And we see that fact-based decision-making in the process transformation is more and more important. And for sure, this is something which drives our roadmap quite a lot. So when we look at digital transformation, basically digital transformation is successful when it lands at the desk of your users, of your employees in their everyday work. And in order to be successful, we have to keep in mind that everything we do needs to be for the users, for the people who have to adopt to change in the end. So user experience and user adoption are key drivers as well. When we look at ARIS, when we look at the future of ARIS, how to make ARIS successful for you and for us. And last but not least, especially when you are in a situation where we look at change, collaboration is key. So fight silo thinking, basically. Bring the people together at the same page, have them work on a common goal. This is really crucial when you look at digital transformation, because digital transformation does not end at the company border. It does not end at the department border. It's really having all relevant key players working together on better company processes. So this is definitely in our mind when we look at the ARIS roadmap and the product strategy. So what is our focus? So let's now have a closer look on what we are planning and what's driving us. So when we now look at ARIS and at the future of ARIS, basically we have different pillars that we have in mind when we develop ARIS for the future for you. First, for sure, is what are the assets that we have in our portfolio. So there are so many capabilities in place that you are familiar with already, for instance, in the area of designing new business standards or to govern your business standards in your organization, set up a process governance community. For sure, all these capabilities, these building blocks, they are important, but they serve a purpose. So you follow a use case, you follow your opportunities basically in your organization in order to make your company a better company. And then why ARIS? Because we have key success factors in our portfolio that make ARIS successful, that we've built over the time for you, together also with you. Why? For sure, in the end, for achieving your key takeaways, your key results. So to make a long story short, we basically build the building blocks, new building blocks, make the building blocks better, to solve your problems, give you additional opportunities for change, for digital transformational change, with the success criteria that we have in market to achieve at the end of the day, the results that you would like to achieve in your digital transformation. So let's now have a look at the priorities of our roadmap and our product strategy. And it all starts with making ARIS the transformation suite for your company. And this is supposed to be an open and integrated and a comprehensive transformation suite which really solves a bunch of your problems that we've seen before when you run your use cases, when you look at operational excellence, your business transformation, set up governance, risk and compliance, so many different problems that each organization has to solve basically. And the digital transformation suite is really at the heart of this. How to achieve that? For sure, setting up the single source of truth in a very productive manner is what we keep in mind. But it's also looking at the fun side of these things. So it's looking at user experience, the adoption of the single source of truth is important for us, and also looking at the joy of use, which is key when you would like to convince your end users from changes for sure. I've already talked process mining. It's getting more and more important. So this is a key investment topic for us as well, but especially as well in a combination with setting up a strong process architecture in your organization. And not only designing standards, but also looking at how to execute standards, how to automate your business processes in a much better way. For sure. When we look at all of these things, there are further aspects as well. I don't want to deep dive into every topic, but I hope it gives you good insights into the drivers when we look at the roadmap. Let's get a bit more precise, a bit more specific. So what are the different pillars for the upcoming releases when we look now at the priorities of the next releases? And looking at the full ARIS product family, this is a lot about productivity of the different users. So there are the designer users, there are the admin users, there are the end users as well. And for sure, you know that we're coming from a Java-based environment and that we follow path to bring capabilities from our Java-based products into our web-based products. When we look at our ARIS enterprise stack, and I think many of you are basically our enterprise customers as well, there are also some key priorities that we have in mind. And user experience and adoption, as I already mentioned on the slides before, is a key of our future and also current development tasks. But also making people more productive with new features that make an admin user or designer user more productive is what we have in mind when we look at the roadmap and when we look also at your feature requests and your ideas that you give us all day. Integration into ecosystems is really key because I said a few minutes before, setting up change means also designing business standards, creating a single source of truth with ARIS, make that available to the large user communities. And for sure, you naturally also have to integrate with the different applications which are already in place. Exchange information between your single source of truth in ARIS and other applications which require this type of information. When we look at our ARIS elements and advanced products, so the starter products in our product family, basically, this is all about making the journey as easy as possible for you as a customer and to quickly grow in your maturity. And for sure, productivity plays a huge role as well. We also see that the ARIS Advanced is something which is to be explored also in some bigger scenarios. So this might also be a topic for upcoming releases. Stay tuned on that as well. And then for sure, ARIS process mining. I said it already. So we are in the age of fact-based decision making. So processes are for sure designed, they are rolled out, they are set up in your single source of truth in your organization. But you would really like to understand what's going on in your organization by measuring what's going on in your organization and deriving the right decisions from this type of data. So in the process mining space, it's all about connectivity for sure. So I will talk about that in a few seconds. So connectivity is key for us, but also making you ready to use, or let's say when you work with our process mining, to lower the barrier to get started with process mining is something that we have in mind. So creating out-of-the-box solution is on our agenda for the future as well. And for sure, as I said before, an integrated and comprehensive transformation suite is what we have in mind when we develop ARIS for you. So integrating process mining and the world of process design and the repository is key for us. You've seen it already in our past releases, and you will see that as a focus as well in our upcoming releases too. Let's now have a closer look at the upcoming releases. Now I would like to start first with the June release. So in June, we will have an update of our process mining SaaS offering. So end of June, you can expect basically new connectivity to SAP. So SAP is your application, your enterprise resource planning application that you're using to run and execute your processes. And for sure, you would like to get insights into how good your processes perform or how bad they perform and what you can do in order to improve them. And we make the SAP connectivity available for you with the June release so that you can continuously measure your processes straight out of your SAP environment. To make that happen, basically, we've redesigned our so-called data transformation, a complete new capability, which makes it very easy and very handy to extract the data, to transform the data, load the data into your process mining environment, and do all the stuff that you need in a very, very user-friendly manner. So you do not need to be an expert really to work with our process mining, to work with this data transformation. So this is also something which will open up also to further connectivities in the future. So stay tuned as well on this process mining and the data transformation, which is coming with the June release. Looking a bit at the design side of the story, the process modeling side of the story, and we recently released a great new functionality, which is called the satellite modeling. So making the life of our process designers much more productive and much more simple. And I would like to announce to you that with the service release 15, which is coming end of June, basically, we've simplified things again a bit. So especially our enterprise customers will benefit from the fact that they do not need a special license anymore in order to take benefit from this satellite modeling. You just need some administration permissions as well to configure the satellite modeling, and then you can make this available to all your users. So no restriction as well in terms of is it cloud only or is it also for on-prem customers. Stay tuned on that as well. So with the service release 15, this is made available for everyone without special prerequisites. Let's now look at the October release. For sure, I've talked before about the June release, which is basically an update. It's not a full feature release, but the October release, again, is a full feature release, the service release 16, which will give you plenty of additional functionalities as well. And I've picked some highlight for you so that you have in mind basically what we are working on right now. And the first I would like to talk about is the variant management. So when you run into your digital transformation, then typically you design your processes of tomorrow. You design the standards of your future business. And especially in global organizations, this means that you have a lot of different branches, a lot of different departments. You definitely have high variance in your processes as well. And we make that as simple as possible for you with the new variant management to come with the October release. So looking at the creation of variants, the rollout of variants, but also the roll-in of feedback on variants as well is made very handy. And I've also picked a screen for you to show you this is all web-based, highly user-friendly, so that you do not need to be an expert to do variant management, create variants, roll out variants in your organization. This is really aimed at bringing you simple functionality that you can work with without very special background knowledge. I talked before about multinational, large organizations as well. And typically, if you are multinational, you also have the challenge that you have to have the content, your processes, your operating procedures, your standards in different languages for the different end users in place. And to make that much simpler for you, increase the ease of use, increase the productivity, we introduce new automated translation for models. So I'm jumping to the next slide. This is how this looks like. You can work with the most common translation engines, configure them in ARIS basically, and then from your design environment, you can export them and you can decide if you would like to import back again your automatically translated models into your ARIS repository. And this saves a lot of time and efforts for sure. And it's meant to make life for you easier, simpler, especially if you are in a multinational environment. I've talked before quite a lot about user experience. User adoption is key to be successful with changes that you roll out into your organization. So digital transformation and the success of digital transformation does not only mean be more efficient, use more digital technology. It also means that people adopt their way of working to, let's say, modern practices. In order to convince all the user types in your organization, for sure, the way of working, the tooling must be as simple as possible and as attractive as possible. In order to make that better for you, we redesigned the visual appearance of our ARIS Enterprise product. So we've introduced a new landing page, which will come with the October release, which makes it very handy and also very attractive for your end users to get started with ARIS. And I, again, have a screen for you, how this will look like, some early mock-ups for you, basically. People start at their landing page. Administrators can configure the landing page according to your needs, what you would like to show to your end users. And for sure, the first steps are important to bring people on your side when you run into your digital transformation. And we clearly believe in making that more attractive for end users. This will help you in achieving your digital transformation goals. So when we again look at the digital transformation journey, and I mentioned before, we are in an age of fact-based decision making, measuring business processes with process mining. We're also seeing that more and more customers would like to take benefit from the discovered processes from process mining when they run into their modeling. So basically, use information, use process maps automatically discovered from your process mining and export them and work with them in your process design is key. So we make this functionality available for you with our new process mining in the upcoming October release. So that it's very simple from your process mining environment. Simply select the processes that you would like to export. You select into which ARIS repository you would like to bring these processes, and then it's all automatically being stored. And this saves a lot of time when you run into your process design projects as well. So you do not have to start from scratch. You can take benefit from the information that you already have discovered from your process mining. So I've said before, the digital transformation story is what we have in mind when we run and develop ARIS for you in the future. And when we look at the digital transformation story, it clearly means connecting the dots to the organization, to the systems which are already in place. And this plays an important role when we look at process mining on the one side and the process design and the process repository on the other side. So we collaborate with our colleagues from Web Methods with their integration technology to get data from different applications into our process mining for process discovery. That's one side of the story. And the other side of the story is that the standards that you have in your ARIS repository are connected into other applications as well. The processes that you have in ARIS, that you can sync them through standard Web Methods I/O adapter with other applications as well, or read data from external applications and bring them back again into ARIS. So stay tuned on that as well. So further connectivity, further openness to come with Web Methods I/O and ARIS together. So then I'm very often asked about the deployment strategy of ARIS. So I thought it might make sense to spend a slide and a few minutes on that as well. So the questions that people have in mind: will ARIS become cloud only in the future? Will ARIS still deliver on-premise options as well for customers? And the short answer is for sure yes. So I have a short history on this slide as well, and I think many of you are part of this history as well. So in 2013, we made the switch from basically the non-cloud stack with ARIS 7 to the hybrid stack, and with ARIS 9. And hybrid stack means really here that we have technology in our stack which can be either deployed on-premise in your data center or in a cloud deployment, either shared cloud deployment or dedicated private cloud deployment, does not matter. And this journey for sure is planned to be part of the future journey as well. So no worries around that. For sure, we see a huge trend towards cloud and SaaS, software as a service. I think that's important. So more and more customers are looking into these options, and there are high advantages for these options as well. But there is no plan actually to not deliver on-premise ARIS for you in that sense in the future. In the process mining area, it's a bit different. So when you look at our ARIS process mining on-prem technology, this wasn't or isn't on-prem only technology, nothing that can be made available as a cloud product because it has not built that way to be a cloud product. So that's the reason why we launched last year, mid of year, 1 year ago basically, our new ARIS process mining SaaS technology, which is a cloud native technology stack, which is meant to be a cloud only technology stack. So keep that in mind as well. So the classical BPA ARIS stack, this is hybrid, can be deployed on-prem and on cloud, where we have for process mining a clear preference for our new ARIS process mining SaaS offering, but for sure we also have our ARIS process mining on-prem, the so-called PPM, the performance manager in our stack as well, which is basically an on-prem only technology. So I've talked a lot about our technology, but now I'm very, very happy that we have an active partner community contributing as well to our products and to our releases and to our roadmap. And I would like to highlight 3 news to you basically. And the first is that we are partnering with Abel Consulting on new content packages in the area of the digital quality management, ISO 9001. This is going to be made available as a part of our ARIS Advanced and ARIS Enterprise offering. We're just working on that, so that's being made available very, very soon to you, so that you do not have to start from scratch, invent the wheel yourself basically, or reinvent the wheel yourself, that you can work with proven content, proven reference information from, let's say, what has been used already in many organizations as well. Secondly, we're working with eMendos on a low-code, no-code applications to solve small business problems and to generate small apps based on ARIS models, ARIS processes. So just imagine you have a small business problem to solve. You do not want to have developers engaged in developing something for you, which is then not as agile as possible. And you can basically now design the flow of your forms, for instance, in ARIS, and with just a simple click, generate a small business app for you. And then last but not least, I've talked about that already in past presentations, but I think it's very exciting to be mentioned again. So we're partnering with Automation Anywhere and with Crine in the area of RPA. So if you're looking at RPA initiatives in your organization, if you're asking yourself how to make these initiatives much more productive as well, with enhancing, with process mining and process design as well, have a look at our ARIS for RPA offering, and let's say all our collaboration with Automation Anywhere and with Crine. So enough on releases, on features. As said, there's much more to come, but I just selected the highlights. But I would like to share a further highlight with you as well. And this is a recent survey that we have finished together with Forrester on the so-called total economic impact. So Forrester has done a total economic impact analysis with customers and asked actually what's the benefit, what's the return on invest on ARIS, and we are very, very happy on the results. So we've achieved over 300% return on investment over 3 years, which is an amazing result as well. So I think this gives you also some ideas on what you can achieve in your organization. I just can encourage everyone to have a look at this, to download the report. You see it here on the slide, softwareag.com/ARIS-TEI. Please download it. It helps you a lot in your internal reasoning as well, in your internal discussions, also idea generation. What can you do as well? What can you learn from other customers as well? So there's a lot of valuable information put into this TEI report. I clearly would like to encourage everyone to straight after this presentation, visit this website and download it. You definitely will benefit a lot from this. And then last but not least, before I will end up soon with a short summary, basically, I would like to invite everyone in contributing to the strategy and the roadmap of ARIS. So there are so many different interaction formats in place. So you can take part on a service, you can take part in UX interviews, for instance, you can give us feedback, you can ask for a roadmap presentation as well and get into an active discussion. So all the product managers, including myself, we are highly eager to discuss with you the future, your trends as well, what's going on in your organization. Please connect with us and have a discussion with us so that the product strategy and roadmap is really something which follows your plans as well. For sure, we have a huge customer base, so basically with globally organizations working with ARIS, with customers with just few users, 3 users using ARIS, or with 100,000 users ARIS. In the end, we always have to balance the priorities in the investment, but it should be highly relevant for you. So use these interaction formats, please get in touch with us so that we can decide and design the future of ARIS together. So with having said that, I would like to briefly sum up of what we've seen today at our international user group when we look at the future of ARIS and the product strategy and the roadmap to come. And basically, there are 3 things I would like to highlight. First, I think I stated it quite often, transformation success is key in our thinking, and I guess it's key in your thinking as well. So our intention is really to make ARIS as valuable as possible for you, to make you more successful with your transformation. Secondly, we know productivity is in your mind as well, it's in our mind as well. So all user types to be as productive as possible. So you can expect from ARIS in the different areas, the different user personas, productivity enhancements as well, for the domain architects, for the center of excellence, maybe for the end users, as you've seen hopefully in the presentation today as well. But it's not always only to make existing features better or existing products better. It's also looking at what else can give you additional benefit when you look at this digital transformation story. And then last but not least, this is all value driven. So with the total economic impact analysis of Forrester, which is a great example, we've seen that we can create a huge value at your customer side. Create your transformational success together. And this is really what we have in our mind when we look at the future of ARIS, develop the future ARIS for you and together with you. With having said that, I would like to thank you everyone for attending this presentation. And I wish you also many further interesting presentation, and hopefully we can meet again at a point in time soon, live and in person. So thanks a lot for your attention and enjoy the rest of the event. Thanks. Bye-bye.